Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video for Eve Echoes. In today's video, we're going to be having a look at the Escalation update overview, which was posted here on the 30th of October and confirms when the Escalation update will go live here on November 3rd. Now, this isn't exactly patch notes, it's more of an indication of what is to come, so we can go through all of this and talk about what this all means, what's going to be added, and how this all ties together quite nicely. Now, if you do enjoy this video, please let me know by hitting a like on it, sub to the channel, ding the notification bell, select all notifications, because YouTube has just been doing a whole wave of not notifying people recently. It's hit a lot of gaming YouTubers hard. If you want to be getting my content, please take the time to ding that notification and hit all content. Anyway, with all of that said and done then, we're going to jump straight into the Escalation update overview and read through what this all means and what's going to be coming, basically. Now, obviously, a lot of this is my interpretation, just my thoughts and opinions regarding it all as well, and I think most of you understand what my thoughts and opinions regarding capitals are, but there's more to it than just that. The end or the beginning, it says. Through the joint efforts of the pilots, Concorde succeeded in destroying the gravitational structure connecting void space, which were those cool sort of new anomalies that spawned new Nihilus anomalies, and the invasion from the ship graveyard finally came to an end. In the meantime, the research into capital ships has reached a milestone, with each of the four empires developing their own capital ship manufacturing technology. New skills inbound. Capsuleers ended another crisis in New Eden, but the war still goes on, where the advent of capital technology will lead New Eden next remains to be seen. Capital ships. With this update, 8 capital ships will make their debut. Capital ships, dreadnoughts and carriers are currently the highest tonnage ships available to pilots in New Eden. Now, it does say here 8 capital ships, which means 4 for each, 4 dreadnoughts and 4 carriers, a dreadnought and a carrier for each of the 4 main empires. This does seem to somewhat confirm that we are not getting the Mochizuki dreadnought yet for the Yanjung faction, which was kind of anticipated because we still don't have the Shanyue or the Kanyue actual battlecruiser and destroyer. Until we get those, I don't think we'll see the Mochizuki anytime soon, but this certainly seems to confirm that we are just getting those 8, which personally I think is fine right now. Dreadnoughts do not possess strong firepower by default, but their DPS greatly increases after activating their exclusive Showdown mode, which grants them unrivaled firepower throughout New Eden, and this is very much a true point. If you are to build a Dreadnought and fit it fully, expect to be getting something like 300 or 400 DPS, maybe on paper, a little bit higher perhaps once we've got skills and that, but it's not a very high DPS number at all. It's only once you activate Showdown mode that you'll really see this in action, because of the bonuses that mode gives, alongside some pretty hefty downsides, as we'll see now. Apart from boosting a Dreadnought's DPS, Showdown mode also brings bonuses to many other aspects, including self-repair. However, Showdown mode is not without its disadvantages. It dramatically reduces Dreadnought's velocity, as well as preventing it from warping. I think it also makes you immune to remote shield boosting and remote armor repairing as well, but it does give massive boosts to your own shield boosting and your own armor repairs. Beyond this, knowing when to activate Showdown mode is what makes a good Dreadnought pilot. I would argue what makes a good Dreadnought pilot at this point in time is, well, not really much. It's too early. The update brings Dreadnoughts for each of the 4 empires, namely the Revolution, the Phoenix, the Moros, and the Naglfar. Yeah, it's all exactly what we knew. The 4 Dreadnoughts that we've talked about at length are the ones coming here. Carriers. Carriers attack using onboard fighters. Fighters are devastating against regular ships. Space superiority fighters are highly effective against drones, frigates, and destroyers. Light fighters are best used against cruisers, battle cruisers, and battleships. So there we have it. I actually got that wrong. I thought it was going to be just the light fighters, and that there were going to be 2 different types of those. We are getting space superiority fighters designed to take out drones, frigates, and destroyers, and then the light fighters that we've seen are best used against cruisers, battle cruisers, and battleships. I'm still not certain how I feel about this, because it now means that if you are trained into carriers and dreadnoughts, well, if you're trained into carriers can now take out anything that's not a dreadnought, which I guess that gives dreadnoughts a bit of reason for actually being in the game, you know, but I just don't like it when one class of ship can do everything, because it causes major problems. And that all but confirms that carriers are going to be pretty good for PvE as well, which is on one hand, kind of nice. It means that if you're skilling into carriers, it's not going to be completely wasted unless there's a big PvP fight going on. You are going to actually be able to undock and do some stuff, but equally, it means we're racing to the top again. We have a definite power creep now in New Eden, so make of that what you will. To add to their threat against regular ships, carriers are also equipped with a networked sensor mode, which can increase their scan resolution significantly. So if you're tired of your battleship not locking on to small targets fast enough, jump into a carrier. It's a capital that locks on faster. Yay! This update brings carriers from each of the 4 empires, namely the Archon, the Chimera, the Thanatos, and the Nidhogger. Okay, by the looks of things then, it looks like Silent Rose is going to be respeccing into a Nidhogger. You heard it here first. Capital ship tonnage restrictions. Capital ships cannot enter high-sec regions regardless of the means. They can't come in via Stargate, they cannot come in via Sinusoidal Field, as we'll see later, nor can they dock at capsuleer outposts or be transported using the delivery service. The maximum insurance coverage for capital ships is 20% of the estimated value, 70% for regular ships. So this means that they are going to be insurable, but you're going to have to pay 80% of the cost of the ship in order to insure it, rather than the 30% of the cost of the ship that you normally pay. So I like this. I like the fact that they are insurable, which means they're more enjoyable to fly. There's less risk to flying them, so people are more enticed to actually undock them and use them. That's cool, but it's not so low that it's going to, cut into the profits. It's a much, much lower estimated value there, 20% down from 70%. I know that they've worded that backwards. Remember, when you insure a ship with insurance points, you do it for 30% of its value, therefore the insurance is covering 70%. Here, it's only covering 20%, which means you're going to need to pay 80% of the ship's value in insurance points, which is quite frankly insane, but in a good way. I like that. Note again, you cannot dock them at capsuleer outposts, and you can't transport them using the delivery service, but I assume they can still be packaged and transported if you have a ship big enough to do so by standard. It just means you can't do the whole, I'll take it from this station and drop it to this station, like using the regional purchase and stuff like that. It won't work. You're only going to be able to use these in low sec and null sec, and there are different ways for them to get around, as we'll come to later. We then have capital modules. This update introduces a range of capital ship modules: turrets, missile launchers, light space superiority fighters, which are the drone, frigate, and destroyer ones, light attack fighters, which are the cruiser, battlecruiser, and battleship fighters, shield recharges, by which they mean shield boosters, armor repairers, shield extenders, armor plates, batteries, afterburners, micro warp drives, etc. These are all the different capital tier modules. So you have small, medium, large, and capital. Theoretically, you can put a capital module onto a small ship. From what we've seen so far, there is nothing stopping you from doing so, other than the insane amount of power grid it requires. So if you can fit a capital level shield booster onto your battleship, good luck to you. As for capital ship riggings, these are currently for weapon upgrades, defense upgrades, propulsion upgrades, engineering upgrades, fighter upgrades, etc. And skills corresponding to capital modules will also be introduced. Please note that most types of capital modules and riggings cannot be fitted to regular ships and vice versa. The rig not being able to be fit to regular ships is due to the capital ship license, and there are several modules of the capitals as well that do explicitly state that it has a capital ship license, meaning it can only be fit to capital ships, but otherwise power grid is your main problem here. Then we have Sinusoidal jumps. A Sinusoidal field generator, first of all, new high slot module, and can only be fitted when you have the required bonus. So this will be like shield field modules, armor link modules, command bursts, that kind of thing, where a ship will need a roll bonus that says can fit Sinusoidal field generator. Using this module consumes a lot of fuel. Upon activation, the player will become a beacon that can be searched by other pilots in the same fleet. Ships fitted with a jump drive, when requirements are met, can jump directly to the location of the beacon. This basically means that this is historically, in EVE Online at least, a role performed by things like the Probe, the Heron, the Magnet, and the Imicus, so I'm hoping that those ships are getting some changes. This would be a lovely time for those explorer Explorer versions to get their third mid-slot, as well as getting the roll bonus that allows them to fit a Sinusoidal field generator. But essentially, you make yourself a beacon, and then any ship with a jump drive can lock onto you from several star systems away and basically jump straight to you, ignoring stargates. You do have to be in low sec or null sec. You cannot do this in high sec, obviously, as we saw earlier. Basically, it's a way to quickly move capitals from A to B without having to jump through a load of different systems. And that's what I really have never been a fan of when it comes to capitals, the so-called hot drop. The fact that one little probe or whatever sneaks through your defences, they set up a beacon, and suddenly you've got 10 capitals inside your home system attacking your citadel. There's not much counterplay around it. There's a little bit of counterplay, as we'll see in a second, but there's really not much when you consider how much firepower this can drop in. Either way, though, if they do add it to the Explorer frigates, it gives me more reason to be flying those these days, which I'm all for. Sinusoidal Beacon Tower. It's a corporation add-on structure, like the Bounty Management Center and the Tax Management Center, that kind of thing. It generates a beacon that is visible throughout the corporation. Through this add-on structure, ships fitted with a jump drive can quickly return from other systems to areas near this structure. Basically, you go off and you decide that you're going to, chew through some enemy citadels. You can then, at the end of that CTA, assuming your Dreadnought or carrier has survived, you can jump back to the Sinusoidal Beacon Tower. The further you are away, the more fuel a Sinusoidal field and a jump drive uses. The jump drive specifically is what consumes fuel more the further it is away from the field. So if it's like only 2 star systems across, it's going to consume less fuel than if it's 5 star systems across. And in EVE Online, at least, it's not just the pure number of star systems, but the actual geographical distance between those. Open up the star map and you'll see what I mean. Some star systems are actually pretty close to each other, despite being 2 or 3 jumps away, because you kind of do a big horseshoe shape, whereas some are really, really far, despite being in pretty much a straight line. You'll see what I mean if you have a look at the star map. You'll use more fuel if you're jumping a longer distance. At least in EVE Online. We don't know for EVE Echoes, it doesn't confirm it here. Sinusoidal Jammer Tower, another corporation add-on structure. Upon activation, all pilots in the same system would be unable to activate Sinusoidal field generators. The tower doesn't affect the function of the Sinusoidal Beacon Tower from the same corporation. This means that essentially, if you've got a ship in your system, a hostile ship that you think is about to open up a Sinusoidal beacon with a Sinusoidal field generator, you can activate the Jammer Tower to stop them from doing it. That is literally your only counterplay. Notably, though, it does not stop your own beacon tower from operating, so other ships that are returning from a call to arms can still do so, even with the Jammer Tower active. Capital Ship Rally Point. This is a type of cosmic anomaly. Only null-sec systems that have an anchored pirate detection array spawn this type of cosmic anomaly. This Capital Ship Rally Point contains pirate capital ships. When destroyed, they will drop capital modules and capital ship debris. Now, there's 2 things to make straight from that. This is how you get capital ships, the modules and that for them, by doing these specific things, and you are going to need to be in a corporation that has a pirate detection array, which I think a lot of us already are. You can use those. That will spawn these new capital ship rally points. You can jump in there, take out a load of pirate capital ships, and loot the parts. It also confirms that capital ships have their own debris type, which means it's not just Tech 10 Minmatar debris to build a Nidhogger, it's Tech 10 Minmatar capital ship debris. I had someone ask me fairly recently, when they eventually add the pirate faction capital ships, because yes, there are pirate faction capital ships in EVE Online. Look up the Chemosh, for example. Blood Raider capital, terrifying thing. Are they going to just use the standard Sancha debris or Blood Raider debris or whatever, or are they going to have a special type? This seems to insinuate that it would be a special capital ship debris. For example, an Angel capital ship debris, or, rather than just the standard Angel ship debris. Not confirmed, we don't know. It could still just be Angel ship debris and you just need, 150 of them or something. But there we go. It gives an indication. Conclusion. Before releasing the Capital Ship update, we received a lot of feedback from players regarding controls and game balance. You're welcome, and also thank you to everyone. Big thank you to everyone who took the time to go onto the official EVE Echoes Discord and leave feedback regarding capitals. Dreadnoughts and carriers, we've had a lot of time testing these. For those who have actually given meaningful feedback, thank you. This is what we need to do. People complain that there's not a conversation, but then it's very few people will actually reach out out and contact the devs. So those who did, well done. I've been hammering on at them about various different points. You know my opinions. I've also been giving feedback relative to what you guys have been giving me in the comment section. I don't just give my own feedback. I want to make that abundantly clear at this point in time, because people will have historically accused me of, oh, Benzie just twists the devs' ears to make them do what he wants. If that were the case, we would have absolutely amazing destroyers, but we simply do not. When I give feedback to the developers, I will often write out my own essay of these are my personal thoughts and opinions, but I've also had this bit of feedback from these videos, and I will usually give direct quotations and things like that to the developers saying this is what other people have been saying, make of that what you will. So it's nice to know the devs are listening. And so we'll see. The feedback was a great help to us, they say, providing a valuable reference point for the development and fine-tuning of capital ships. We hope players will continue to support us after the release of the capital ships. We hope players will still keep playing this game now that capital ships are out. We hope we haven't ruined it. That's not what they're saying, but it's what it feels like to me as someone who's not overly excited about capitals being added. We'll continue to listen to your feedback and, as always, aim to improve your gaming experience. And I do genuinely believe that. I know there's a lot of cynics out there who are like, oh, NetEase will never fix anything. They do, they have, they will. We've got so much evidence that shows they do fix it. Sometimes it's not a big enough fix, sometimes it's not quite the fix that we were all anticipating, and sometimes it takes a damn long time to get that fix. But we're only a year and a bit old in this game right now. We are still growing, still developing, and still getting new content. Speaking of which, Escalation update November 3rd. That is this coming Wednesday, 2 days time if you're watching this video as it launches, and then we get to fly capital ships. Are you excited? Let me know in the comment section down below. As you know, I'm not big on this, but I probably am genuinely going to respec Silent Rose into flying a Nidhogger, because why the hell not? I need to fly a capital ship of some kind, right? We'll see. We'll see. I'm not guaranteeing, but let me know what you're excited about, though. What of this, like, really to you is like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that. How do you feel about capital ships, dreadnoughts, and carriers being added to the game at this point? Are you excited to be flying them? Are you looking forward to getting the first kill mail? What kind of, kill mail do you anticipate that's going to be? Where are you going hunting? Love to know all of this and more in the comment section down below. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!